All right, so I've been working on what I coined the Shoddy section now for about 3-4 weeks, just getting through this whole area here. I'll show you another. All right, now we're getting into the Shoddy section where fire destabilized the soil above and all the sandstone rocks are crumbling off the side here, falling onto the trail. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build rock gardens with all that debris. I'm just going to collect them into grouped regions and then use the sand you see here laying on the side and throw it in between the rocks and embed these rocks down to the trail, especially parts where there's a lot of water coming off the side of the mountain flushing across the trail like here, and it's going to knock off the end of the trail. So if I can build a rock garden drainage, that would be ideal. I'm afraid a lot of this stuff that looks like rocks is actually sandstone, and it just crumbles. So let's see what I can do, especially there too. Just finished the pack of M&Ms, but the landslide was just sending stuff down after we had the fire, and then we had the blessing of few rain come through, but it just shifted all that loose material down onto the trail. And first I didn't know what I was going to do with it all. There was just so much of it. It was just incredible. It was like just completely destined to be just a rocky, rutted section. So anyhow, it came to me, hey, you know what? I'm going to gather up all that stuff, all those fallen rocks and sandstone blocks, and just throw them into piles and then bury them under all the dirt that came through. Plus the trail itself needed to be widened out. There's a phenomenon known as trail creep. And what that is over time, material just falls off of, just comes down. It's always falling. Even right now as we speak, the wind is just blowing granules of material down onto the trail, and what it does is it just slowly creeps until you're left with the track running along the edge. And the edges are the worst place to be riding on or walking on or horseback riding, because it's the weakest point of any trail. So keep that in mind. If you're ever using the trails, try to stay to the middle or the inside. The outside edge, even as a builder, it's just weak, because if you're building something up like a rolling grade dip here, there's nothing reinforcing the side. It's just matching the slope. So I can only compact and pile so high until the trail starts getting narrower and narrower again. So there is a limit to when you're building on slopes, is how high you can go to a certain degree. But if you have rocks like over here, well, let me finish over here. So I just widened out the trail. So you just regain the trail again by cutting the bench cut, reestablishing it, and then all that material just allowed me to build stuff. Yeah, it's been a real blessing, I'll tell you, because this trail is just spot on perfect. So we've got some rain coming in the forecast, perhaps tomorrow night, a couple of inches of rain. So that'll be good, because this stuff compacted to a point, but it needs water now. And then I'll be up here after the rain, just giving it a final tamp, and then I can move out of this section, because I can actually say for now, for the time being, I am completed with this sector of trail. And if you remember, this is where the machine came through and ground up the trail up to about just around the curve here, and then it stopped, because going this way was it was impossible. It was just there's just been rock slides and stuff, so riding through it was a challenge. But that's part of it too, and that's the whole aspect with this progressive style of trail shaping that I've been doing. I'm incorporating erosion control measures, especially rolling grade dips, and that is basically when you've got a grade, you want to stop the water from running down the trail, just gathering velocity and material and just wiping out the entire trail. So what you want to do is have the water exit off of the trail as quickly as possible. So like you create an outslope to the trail, and then rolling grade dips. And I've taken it to a next level. I've learned that from just visiting places like Bend, Oregon, where they incorporate the U.S. Forest Service guideline of trail construction, but then they put a creative twist to it by accentuating it, and it just makes mountain biking so much more fun. It incentivizes the riders to actually stay on the trail. you can make riders go where you want them to go without even them knowing you want them to go, because what you do is you add incentive by building in features that just makes them want to go. So that's how you do it. And so my rolling grade dips are kind of pumped up, so they're still serving the purpose. Water just comes down and it only gathers in some, you know, it's limited to how much can go, and it just goes off the side because it can't bypass either side of the roller. And then, but I've built a lot more together because that's just fun, you know, instead of having them like every 50 feet, it doesn't need to be every 50 feet. I've got the material sliding off the hill here, and one of the biggest rules of trail building is never, ever, ever waste dirt. Because as you see, there's plenty of dirt, but you can't go mining it into the hill because you just deface the property. It's just ugly when people just gouge out areas to salvage dirt, for mine for dirt, to build their track features. That's just such a big no-no. It's just ugly, you know. That's just it's a selfish way of building, because other people come through are here for the beauty, and that's the first primary goal of this parkland, is to preserve the beauty, preserve the natural landscape. And gouging it out doesn't hold to that charter. So when material falls on the trail, you got to keep the trail passable. So I build stuff with it, and so far it's working out really good. So I got all these features in. I'm just building my last thing here this afternoon, and I'm just going to be good condition for the rain. Hopefully we don't get any major land breakage or anything, and I can just come back and tamp, and then move on up to an area that actually needs serious erosion control. And but the big thing was in September, after I got back from Bend, was to get out here and do something with all that dirt, and that they ground up, because that was just free dirt. That was a gift beyond imagination to have that, because it just made my job a lot easier. And because the dirt was there, it was soft, all it needed, it was malleable, it was shapeable very quickly, so I could get through stuff real quick. Biggest part I've learned is when you're working in other parts of trail where the dirt isn't plentiful, it's just impossible to do anything. There's just really not much you can do. But so that was good. All right, so I'm just going to finish up here, put that dirt over there, and call it today. All right, cheers.